The broadcast is live.
Yep. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Missosology Beauty Talks. Today, we are joined by Missosology correspondent Mario Bergantinos from Manila and former Missosology correspondent and Miss International Marketing Manager Stephen Diaz in Japan. And
Hi.
we are very excited to welcome our very special guest today. She is an author, a speaker, a winning mindset coach, and she was Miss Universe 2005. Let's get let I'm so excited. I'm sorry. Let us all welcome Miss Universe 2005, Miss Natalie Glebova.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi
Hi,
guys.
Natalie. How are you?
I'm so good, Drew. Thank you so much, Mario, Steven. Guys, I'm really excited to be on the call with you because I love doing these live sessions. I feel like it's such a good way to connect to the pageant fans, get my message across, answer some questions, and really just build those connections. I love it.
Yeah, and we're very excited to have you. As I said before we started, you were always on top of our mind as our guest, and we're so glad to get it started. So I'm gonna
Thank
start
you.
it right now.
Let's
So
do it.
before you joined pageants, you worked as a model in Toronto. And you were a motivational speaker for students. So, what made you decide that you actually wanted to venture into beauty pageants?
Well, to be honest with you, before I entered into beauty pageants, I actually had nothing to do with motivational speaking or talking to
Mhm.
students. It was actually one of my roles after I won Miss Canada. I started to go into schools to give talks to kids about bullying and telling my story of how I was an immigrant to Canada and
Mhm.
trying to get kids to raise their self esteem. Before that, so I was a student myself in university in Toronto, and I was studying IT management. Guys, can you believe it? I was an IT management person, like an IT. So I went there actually by my parents' request because they were both IT people, and they
Oh,
said, it's the year 2000, so it was like the Y2K crisis. So people were looking for a lot of IT grads, people who could program and manage networks and all of that. So at my parents' request, I decided to go for IT management. But to be honest with you, it wasn't my heart calling. I knew that it was not something that I wanted to do. What was
okay.
really calling to me was to be on stage. I
Mhm.
wanted to perform. I didn't know in what
Yeah.
capacity. I actually didn't have that many talents that I could showcase on stage. I mean, I had a little bit of piano, a bit of dance, a bit of gymnastics here and there. I loved in high school. I loved performing in bands, so I played the saxophone. I even played some Jamaican steel drums. Like I just joined for
Wow.
fun, because
Yeah.
I love to be on stage and I love to perform. So when I saw Miss Universe pageant for the first time in 2002, when Oksana Fedorova won, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my chance. I can be doing this. So while I'm still
Mm.
young, while I'm still in university, there wasn't that much that I could do to be on stage. So I said,
Mhm.
this is my chance to get on stage. So I could perform, I could dance, I could compete. And so that's what interested me in pageants to begin with.
Yeah, so you said earlier that you've always wanted to be on stage. So how did it feel to be finally on stage during your Miss Universe Canada experience?
Well, that was the best part because the more I was getting into the pageants and I was passing through the rounds, right? So the
Mhm.
first round was, of course, the regional pageant, which was for Ontario, in our province in Canada. And when I passed through that round, I realized that, oh my goodness, I'm going to the national pageant in Miss Canada. And that was just a dream come true already. I was so grateful for the fact that I was able to compete on that level, on the international level, oh, sorry, on the national level first in Canada. So it was amazing. We even had in that year the same choreographer that was working for Miss Universe, Mr. Scott Grossman, who choreographed our whole dance routine. And it was so wonderful to be part of that brand, of the Miss Universe brands, and being able to dance on stage, compete. It was just an amazing feeling. I love that adrenaline rush, when you're
Mhm.
standing backstage and you're really excited.
Yes.
and they're about to
Yeah.
call your name, and there's like all these butterflies going on in the stomach, and yeah, it's one of my favorite feelings. Well, back then it was.
So
Yeah.
did you win the Miss Universe Canada on your first try, or
No, I didn't.
no?
And a lot of people actually are surprised because they think that I won right away and then I went to Miss
Mhm.
Universe and I won that. Actually, it took me 2 tries to win Miss Canada. So that's
Mm.
what is the. I love telling the story because it really shows that if you don't win something on the first try, if you don't succeed in your goal the first time, you just have to keep trying. You have to keep going because you never know what could happen.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I
Right.
if I stopped competing that first year, I probably would have just, left it at that. But the reason why I ended up winning Miss Universe is because I tried to go the second
That's
time in
true.
Miss Canada.
Yeah.
So when you won on your second time in 2005, how did you prepare for the pageant in Bangkok? What were
So
the preparations?
after I won Miss Canada,
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
my preparations were quite dedicated. I was preparing with everything that I had. I, of course, had my national director and my trainer. So Dennis De Villa, he's the national director of Miss Canada, and he helped me a lot to prepare an interview and how to speak well, and how to, of course, he helped me prepare all my outfits and my evening gown.
Hmm.
And I had another trainer, Miguel Martinez, who was my coach for runway and also for styling and a lot of those things that stage presentation. So I was preparing every single day. I would be watching past Miss Universe pageant tapes. We actually had VCRs back then. I remember,
VCR.
yeah, I would put in a tape of all my favorite Miss Universe pageants, and I would watch the recordings over and over again. So I just felt like I was absorbing a lot of the winners' frequency. I would tune into the girls who really did well in pageants, and they radiated that winner's vibe, I suppose.
Yes.
And
who
I
were
would just sit
the
there and watch.
who were those Miss Universe that you were checking out during
Of
those times?
course, there was Oksana Fedorova, Amelia Vega, Jennifer Hawkins, all the girls who came before me. I didn't watch so many pageants of the past before
Hmm.
2000s. I think I started from maybe like Puerto Rico, Denise Quinones, and then
Uh-huh.
onwards.
Yeah, the 2000, the
The
21st century, the
Yeah.
start of the 21st century Miss
Because
Universe.
actually, it was really hard to get tapes of previous pageants. It was
That's
very
true.
difficult.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I wanted to watch them. I just couldn't get my hands on them. So I would watch whatever I recorded myself from the TV at that time.
That's true. And
Uh,
plus, the system of judging was almost the same since the time of Denise Quinones, I think, like wherein they would just around announce the fourth runner up, third runner up, and the second runner up. Because
Mm.
prior to that, it was top six and then top three, and then they
Mm.
announced the winner. But during your time, it was already top five, and they
Okay, I
reverted
never
back into the
know
top.
that.
Yeah, they reverted back into the top five system in 2001 during the time of Denise Quinones.
I see. Wow, you're a real pageant historian, aren't you?
Well, yeah, Kim Yi in year 2000.
Yeah. That's
She was the
amazing.
last Canadian to be in the top five before you.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah, that was it. And then came Natalie,
that's
finally
right. I'm
bringing the.
hoping that soon there's going to be another Canadian who takes over that title of
That's
being a
true.
third
Yeah.
a third Canadian to win. I'm actually training a lot of girls right now for Miss Canada,
Hmm.
Miss World Canada, Miss Universe Canada, and some of the other local pageants in Canada. So I'm really hoping that one of my students is going to win this year, so she can shine on Miss Universe. And
Yeah.
let's see. There's
When you
there's a couple of girls who I really feel could do well at Miss Universe.
when you train girls for Miss Universe Canada, that means you're also training someone who will go to Miss International because one of the girls, one of the runners up, always goes to Miss International anyway. So who
That's true.
knows? You might
That's
win Miss International as well.
That would be amazing. I feel like all of my girls who I train, they're like my little daughters, and I'm so proud to see them succeed. It's incredible.
so now going back, I want to know what were your thoughts when you first landed in Bangkok? Was it already game face on?
For me, my thoughts when I landed in Bangkok was, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in Asia.
Uh,
I've never been in Asia before. It was such an amazing experience for me because as a little girl, I always loved looking at maps and looking at the globe and seeing the world. And for me, one of my biggest goals in life was to travel the world. So the fact that I was in Thailand was such an incredible, special moment because I knew Thailand only from the movies that I had seen. Remember that movie, The Beach,
yes.
Ah,
Leonardo DiCaprio?
yeah.
Just from pictures that I've seen and photographs. And to me, Thailand looked like such an exotic destination, so mystical and different. And the culture was so beautiful for me. So the fact that I landed in Thailand, I remember just going down in the plane and looking outside and seeing all of those temples.
Mm.
My heart was just beating so fast, not because I was like expecting some competition or here I am at Miss Universe, which of course was also exciting, but the fact that I'm in Thailand and it's so fabulous and it's so different and exotic, that's what made me more excited to be at Miss Universe.
Did you ever feel that you're gonna win already, or at first you were doubting yourself?
It was neither of those. I was not
Okay.
thinking that I was going to win, but I was also not doubting myself. I kind of
Mhm.
went in with an open mind and
Okay.
with a feeling of surrender. Like, whatever
Mhm.
happens, I am happy with whatever result is because
Mm.
I knew that I prepared my best. I knew I was in the best shape of my life. I mean, my body was looking really tight and I
Was
was.
perfect, I have to say. Perfect, Natalie. I've never seen a Miss Universe without body. Oh my. My
Oh, well,
mom
I'm
was
sure
like,
that's not true. There have been some girls who've also brought their A game with
I
the
know,
body.
yeah. But my mom told me that during the swimsuit competition, the moment she saw you there, she said, "No, there's no competition already. You won." That's what she said.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, in my mind, I knew that I had taken steps in order to get my body into the best possible shape, to be the best runway walk, to have the best runway walk that I could, to have not better than anybody else, but my own best runway
That's
walk,
true, yeah.
and to answer questions the best that I possibly could. I loved my gown. I loved my, everything. I had a tan, like I went tanning for weeks and months before I went to the competition. So I had a nice tan and I just felt like ready, I felt ready to take on whatever was to come. So whether I ended up in the top 5, top 10, or even just top 15, I knew that I would be happy with my placement. But somehow deep down, I already knew that no matter what happens, at least in my mind, I'm good for the top 10 for sure, maybe even top 5. So it was kind of like that confidence that allowed me to progress further and further because I had that conviction inside of myself.
Hmm.
It was that faith that I was like, I know I'm good enough to be there for top 5. So as I was progressing in the competition, I actually felt, wow, this is just a bonus. This is like an
Mhm.
extra bonus that I get to experience. Because already after making it to top 15, I was like, who cares what happens? I'm already
Yes.
in top 15 at Miss Universe. This is beyond incredible.
So take us back to that moment when the host said Miss Universe 2005 is Canada. So what was running through your mind?
It's funny. A lot of people ask me that question all the time, and it's hard to bring back those memories because I think it was just so much overwhelming sensations, like emotional overload, right? So it was a mixture of surprise, of course, because I was not really expecting to be called as the winner. In fact, when I was standing there with Cynthia, Miss Puerto Rico, at the end, and we were holding hands, I was pretty sure that they're going to call her as the winner. I even said to her right before they announced, I said, I think you're going to win and I'm going to be so happy for you. And so I really didn't, to me, whether I won or I didn't win, I would have the exact same level of satisfaction inside. Because to me, being standing in the last two, it's like, what else do you need in life? Like, this is the best. This is amazing. is the title really going to change anything? Not that much, you know, because the satisfaction in your own heart is really what you need the most.
Mhm.
And it's
And so,
actually very interesting as well that in the top five, you're the only one who is not a Latina.
yeah, I mean, it didn't really click in my mind at the time. I didn't think about it. But afterwards, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, wow, I
Well,
was Latina. Interesting. So the moment that I was announced as the winner, it was just kind of that everything was in slow motion. Like you start to feel like, is this a dream or is this really reality? Because your
hmm
mind hasn't processed yet the implications of what it means to be Miss Universe. Because I didn't think about what would happen if I win. I was just enjoying my time in the pageant. I was enjoying doing my best. So when you hear the words that you're Miss Universe, your mind just kind of stops working because you're like, I don't know what to do with this.
you're moving
This
to New York.
yeah, I mean, moving to New York, you know, there's like The Crown, there's all of these incredible opportunities. Like, there's just too many things. So for 1 second, or maybe a few seconds, I don't know, it was just like slow motion. So I
Mhm.
turn around and I, you know, hug Cynthia. Then I turn around in slow motion and I see Jennifer coming at me with the sash, right? And the crown, and everything is just like slow motion. And I'm just thinking, this is not happening. This is not happening at all. This is probably a dream or some kind of, I don't know, crazy thing.
Mhm.
But I think the moment that it started to finally sink in that it is happening is when I started seeing people that I know coming up to the stage and celebrating with me and looking so happy. I saw my parents. I saw, of course, my national director,
Yeah.
Miguel, who was my trainer, my dress designer, Miguel de la Torre from Colombia. So
Mhm.
all of those things started to sink in. And then I started to feel extremely excited and extremely happy. And it's like celebration, right?
Yeah. I think Mario has a question. Go,
Yeah.
Mario.
How did it feel to wake up as Miss Universe the day after you won the title?
Hmm. So, you
That's
know,
interesting.
in my year, of course, because it was in
Yeah.
Thailand, the pageant was happening in the morning. So the whole day was full of activities. It was full of press conference. Then there was a celebration at the hotel. They made a huge cake for me. There was all kinds of things, and then there was a coronation ball in the evening. So everything was just, I don't know, a blur, like fast forward. Instead of slow motion, everything was on fast forward. And the next day, I think I was waking up in Bangkok in Dusit Thani Hotel. To be honest with you, that's a really good question. I don't remember what I was thinking. I think I was probably thinking, is this still real? Is this still happening?
Uh,
Maybe that was a dream from yesterday. But then the realizations came back again, and it's like exciting and happy and feeling of something accomplishment, like a big sense of accomplishment. And
yes.
maybe a little bit of relief that now that all of this nerves and all of this anticipation and excitement for the pageant, now it's all over. So now it's like relief. I can relax. I don't have to compete anymore.
Yeah. I just want to
Mar-
show.
Mario has a lot of collections of former winners eating breakfast in the
Yeah.
hotel. Um, not paid for the universe title. He's got a lot of that collection.
You know,
Photo.
I wish they would do that tradition. I remember seeing old pictures in the past of winners having their first breakfast as Miss Universe. I wish they would continue that tradition for all of us fans to see, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
That would be
Mario.
really cool because if I had those memories of them serving me breakfast or something like that, breakfast in bed, I think I would remember more about my feelings because now I don't really remember so much.
Mhm. So, yes, Mario.
Natalie, before you joined the Miss Universe Canada and the Miss Universe pageant, we learned that you joined the Miss Maha World 2014 in Colombia. Tell me about your experience and what did you learn from that pageant?
That was an interesting pageant.
Yeah.
That was in Colombia. We went there with another good friend of mine who was competing with me in Miss Canada. So she was representing the USA in that pageant. And the whole pageant experience, I would say, it was quite fun. We traveled all over Colombia. We got to wear traditional costumes and meet local people. And it was just a beautiful experience of traveling around. To be honest with you, my actual pageant stage experience wasn't the best because um, my foot, I almost broke my foot walking on the stage because it was made of wooden planks, and my foot went right through the wooden planks because it was covered with plastic, and I didn't see that there was a hole. So I
Oh,
scraped the top of my foot. I still have scar on the top of my
oh
foot from
no.
that time.
Yeah.
So I mean, like my foot was really damaged, and then I felt like my dress wasn't good enough because I wasn't prepared with my dress. Then I remember when we were competing, I couldn't get my sarong off. Like we had little sarongs in our swimsuit, and I couldn't untie it. So I ended up just like fumbling with it, and I couldn't untie it. So I was like, okay, forget it. I'm just gonna take it off. And so
The
the
show must
whole,
go on. Yeah.
yeah, like everything went
Yeah.
wrong, and I ended up being what, like I think second runner up or something in there, and I didn't even feel bad about it because I was like, well, it is what it is.
And it is
It
an
just like bad
experience as
luck.
well,
Yes.
you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was great experience, and I took so much out of that because that helped me to gain a bit more confidence for going to Miss Universe as well, for sure.
Mhm. And going back to finally winning Miss Universe, you've traveled a lot during your reign, and I still remember that the one travel that you had in South Africa where you had a public HIV test. And so, among all the countries you've traveled as a Miss Universe, which one made an impact in your life?
Mm. Well, it's interesting you mentioned South Africa trip. It was definitely one of my very life-changing trips. I think it was my first or second trip as Miss Universe. I can't remember. It was India and South Africa, the two trips. I can't remember which one came first. I think maybe South Africa was first. And it was definitely a shock because being from Canada, and I didn't really get to travel before. I came from Russia straight to Canada. And besides Colombia and Nicaragua, I didn't really travel that much anywhere else. So to visit South Africa and to see how different the world is, and we went to so many local villages to see how people live in very, very poor parts of the country. It was quite shocking to me. And of course, coming from sort of a sheltered background in Canada, we're not exposed to poverty, we're not exposed to disease and pandemics and all of those things. So being in South Africa and seeing the devastation that AIDS causes, I think it was very, very touching to me. And I remember even crying for the first few nights that I was in South Africa because I couldn't handle the fact that we were seeing people dying. And we were going to orphanages where children were born with HIV and with AIDS. And it was just so heartbreaking to me. So I think a lot of my growth and a lot of maturity happened in that trip. And I'll forever remember that trip because of that. And of course, you know, giving a public HIV test, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever taken a test like that, but it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, I have taken that test, of course, many times since then. And every
Mhm.
time it's like, oh my God, this is so nerve wracking, right? This is not a fun thing to do. But the fact that it was public too, it was just really, really traumatic for me. It's a traumatic experience, right?
I agree. I
So,
agree.
but in a way, it taught me so much. It taught me a lot about this situation in Africa, the fact that this affects every human being in the world. It's not just people who are in Africa, right? It's kind of something that we all have to be across the world, be aware of the
Yes.
dangers of AIDS and be able to protect ourselves, know our status, get tested. So it was a huge, like, eye-opening experience for me, which before that, I had no idea about anything. I didn't
Yes.
know. So it was a learning experience for sure.
Your reign as Miss Universe at that time, where the social media wasn't even a big thing, what do you think was the advantage of reigning as a beauty queen during that time?
During that time,
Yeah.
because there was no social media, of course, the disadvantage would be lack of connection with fans, lack of connection with people who want to know about Miss Universe. So a lot of the things that maybe you saw at that time was pictures on the Miss Universe website, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get to see what really my life was like. But on the other hand, the advantage was that we didn't get criticized as much. So you didn't have to every single day read some negative comments, which of course happens, right? There's going to be positive comments and there's going to be negative comments. But I feel like this in this day and age of social media being so widely available to everybody, the girls have to grow thicker skin
Oh,
to
that's true.
yeah
Yeah,
to
that's
go
true.
through all of that criticism because everyone has an opinion and everyone is going to weigh in. And sometimes we just have to block and just be like, okay, that's okay. It's just an opinion of somebody else. It doesn't really, affect me and who I really am, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And now you definitely fell in love with Thailand that you decided to move there after passing your crown. So, aside from your pageant experience, what drew you closer to Thailand?
besides the pageant experience, well, I guess I mentioned before already because I felt so interested in the culture. It was so different to me than anything that I've known before. And so I decided that I would like to experience living there for a year. And during my year as Miss Universe, I kept going back to Thailand, I think 5 times for different things. And every time I went, I made more connections, I made more friends, I fell
Mm,
in love with it more. So I started to feel like this is a place that is familiar to me. This is a place like I can call a second home. So when I got an opportunity to work for Singha company, they said, would you like to come to Thailand and be our brand ambassador for 1 year? I just felt like, yeah, why not? I already feel comfortable. I know the country. I love it so much. The people that I've met, I've connected with them so well. And I've loved everything about it. I love the weather, the food, all the fruits, the beaches. Like it's such an, as I said, it's different and it was unique to me. So I wanted to experience living in a place like that.
mhm. I remember we interviewed Michelle McLean a few weeks ago, and she also had a lot of good things to say about Thailand.
Oh, I love Michelle. We traveled in India together.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, we were working for a company that does some kind of sports events. And so Michelle and I, we were one of the presenters there. We spent a month together in India. It was really cool.
Mm, that's interesting.
I
And
didn't
now,
know that.
Mm.
uh, at this point, I want to talk about the day that you passed your crown. So, did you prepare that like mentally on the day that you're going to pass the title?
The day that I was passing on Miss Universe title,
Yeah. How did you prepare for that? Because the past year has been like a really really good time, and then on this day it's gonna be the last time that you're gonna be the reigning Miss Universe. So how did you prepare for that?
well, to be honest, that was
That's
It's
you.
totally fine. It's okay.
sorry.
It's normal.
Okay, back to normal. So when I was, people ask me, how was my year as Miss Universe? And I always say that it was the best year of my life, but it was also the toughest year of my life. So it's kind
Mm,
of both, right? You're having all of these incredible experiences. You're meeting presidents and kings and queens of countries, and the red carpet is rolled out to you, and you're going
And
to
your,
all of these incredible events and traveling, right?
and your boss
yeah.
was Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, sure. That wasn't exactly something that I would put in the positive column, but that's another story. But on the other hand, the responsibility and the pressure is so high. Plus, you're away from your family, you are away from your friends, you're living in New York City, which is a really tough city to live in. If you've ever been to New York City, I mean, it's fun for like a week. But if you're living there, you have to fight for survival, right? If
Dog
there's
eat dog.
yeah, you feel like you're always feeling like you're the underdog because there's always somebody better than you, always somebody richer than you, somebody who's more popular than you. And sometimes even as Miss Universe, you would feel like this small compared to some of these other people that you meet. And so for me, also the fact that I didn't have my own life for that year, I'm kind of a rebel like that. Like I can't work for anybody. Like if somebody told me go work for a company, I would rather die. Like I can't do it. Like I want to do my own thing. I want to have my own business. I want to be my own agent, right? So having that restrictions, the fact that we had a schedule sent to us every single day that we had to follow, of course, I knew that I'm grateful for that opportunity. I love the fact that I'm Miss Universe, but it still wasn't what my heart wanted me to do, right? Like I love being free. I love deciding my own schedule, what I want to do. So for 1 year, I felt quite restricted in what I could do and what I couldn't do. And that's why when I was ready to pass on the crown, it was almost like a sigh of relief. Like, okay, I've done that. That was a really hard year, incredible year, but very hard year. But now I can do whatever I want. So it was almost like anticipation. I can't wait to pass on the crown.
Like freedom.
Yes. Guys, you don't understand. Like for me, my life can be described in one word: freedom. That's it. That's all I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't want to be, famous and known by everybody in the world, but I want my freedom. If I don't have my freedom, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And everyone's different. Some people prefer to be under somebody's control, but they like that spotlight and they want the fame, and that's fine too. But for me, I was just happy that I'm passing it on and I'm moving on.
That's very interesting because we've interviewed other queens, and when we asked them that question, they said they wanted to extend their reign. So
Really?
this is your story is a different side to being a
Hmm.
beauty queen. So
It
that's
was
interesting.
during those times, I guess. You know their boss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if everybody's always saying exactly what they're saying, because the girls that I have talked to, I'm not going to mention names, but they were also happy to pass on the crown.
Okay.
So maybe they're just saying that because they don't want to. They want to kind of say, "Oh, it was so wonderful," but deep down, they really felt like, "Oh, thank goodness, it's over." Yeah.
Okay. So
Because
at this point, I want
first,
to ask if you could go back to that year, is there anything that you want to change during your reign as Miss Universe?
Hmm. From my own side or from the
Yeah,
organization?
from your side.
I think if I could go back and tell myself something to do differently, um, that's a really good question. I think I would just tell myself to enjoy the moment more,
Hmm.
because I think I was also kind of going through the motions and waiting for things to finish. Like, okay, I'm in this trip. Okay, when is it going to finish? Okay, what's next? I was always looking for what's next, right? And I think a lot of the times when we are not present in the moment, we don't really live, we don't experience life. And so I had too many thoughts, too many worries, too many things going on in my mind, thinking like, what's going to happen when I finish? Am I going to be
Hmm.
okay? Am I still going to have a job? Because in that 1 year, you have no idea what the next year of your life is going to be like. Because in that year, you have a schedule, you know what to do for that day, for that week. But after that, you have no idea what to do. So I think I was too worried about my future, and I wasn't really enjoying and living in the present moment, which now I have learned how to do that. So if I could tell my younger self, the Miss Universe self at that time in 2005, I would just tell her, don't worry about the future. It will
Hmm.
be okay. Just enjoy this moment. Yeah.
That's the I like how you put it, like enjoying the moment.
Yeah, it's so important for everybody.
same thing you tell the younger beauty pageant aspirants right now, that they have to enjoy every moment while they could still enjoy it, instead of just focusing on winning the crown only. Because I know a lot of them are just thinking too much about winning, and they forget to enjoy the moment.
Yes, Stephen, you're so right about that. Actually, that's one of the things that I teach in my courses now. So if you guys don't know yet, I started a course called Win the Crown. That's one of
Yes.
the projects that I have to help aspiring pageant contestants to reach their best potential and turn their pageantry experience into their transformation experience. And the thing that I teach about is how to be mindful, how to meditate, how to bring your attention to the present moment. And a lot of people don't know how to do that because they're always identified with their thoughts. So they're thinking, thinking, thinking. They might be worried about the future, might be thinking about the mistakes of the past, but they're forgetting to be present in the moment. And the best way to be present is actually bring your awareness to your breath and to your body. So I teach my clients how to actually experience the present moment with body awareness meditation, with breath awareness meditation, with analytical meditation. So we have all of these techniques that I teach them so that they can immediately, even if they're backstage waiting for them to go on stage, or if they're right before the interview with the judges, they can quickly go and do this meditation, and they're right away in the present moment. And what happens in the present moment? Only the best things, right? Miracles happen in the present moment. You start being more authentic. You start competing with more confidence, because if you're coming from the present moment, that's when you shine. You have that winner's aura. But if you're competing and thinking about your next step and am I going to win? Is this going to happen? Who's going to be crowned? That girl has better legs than me. She just answered a better question than me. Then you're going to be in your head all the time and you're going to get psyched out. So you're not
Totally,
going to be.
totally agree.
Yeah.
How can the girls sign up for your pageant coaching?
So on my Instagram account, on my website, they can all find it. I think my Instagram account is easy. On my Facebook, it's easy. I give the link. There's always links to Win the Crown Masterclass. So they can just follow those links on my profile and find out. It's very easy. They get all the information on the website, and then they can just sign up. And I even have a free webinar that people can join as well, so they can experience
yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, so girls, take note of that. Follow Natalie on her socials and sign up now.
Yeah, and the best thing about this program is that the girls don't have to just use it for pageant preparation. They can take it for the rest of their life. The techniques that I teach, the mindfulness, the healthy diet, exercise, how to build a personal brand, how to nail your interview, all of those skills that I teach, they can be used in any area of their life after the pageant also, right? So it's really, I feel like I not only teach them how to win in the pageant, I teach them how to win in life. So that's why I really believe in my product.
I think Mario has a question related to winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your book, I Am Winning?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So my book, I'm Winning, is actually meant to inspire people to feel like winners every single day. I know some people get really down on themselves and they feel not confident, or they feel like they're comparing themselves to other people because of social media. And I want people to understand that you can find something to feel grateful for every single day of your life. For instance, you can take one day out of your life and say, hey, you know what? I just had a really healthy lunch. I am winning, like give yourself that trophy. Or you guys today, for example, right? You had a really awesome live interview with me. So you can say, I am winning. Same for me. I can say I had an awesome live interview with you guys. So I'm winning, right? You maybe talk to a friend or talk to your mom and gave her some advice, right? You can feel like you're winning. So it's all about changing your mindset to feel like you're winning every single day by acknowledging all of those small moments of victory throughout the day. And the more of those days that you have, then the more you're going to start to feel like a winner for life. So I wrote out all of these ideas and techniques in this book. And I wanted people to hold the book next to their face, take a picture, and it's as if they're saying that I am winning, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of like I want everybody to say, I am winning every single day.
Yeah, we are winning
I am
because we have
winning.
you today.
Yay, we're winning.
Yeah. And there's a related
Right?
comment on our live feed.
This is the official sign for I'm winning. So I want you guys all to do that with me. I'm winning.
Yeah, and then
You're holding your phone. You can be like, I'm winning.
yeah, there's a related comment on our live feed from Maria Angelica po. Thank you, Miss Natalie, for your free ebook, 5 Steps to Win Your Day. I really love it. I felt super blessed.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah,
You're a great author, she said.
Maria Angelica, I'm glad that you enjoy the book, Five Steps to Win Your Day. This is actually part of my program to promote my book because I wanted people to say, okay, if they're not ready to buy the book, or maybe somebody can't afford to buy the book, at least they can get the free ebook and learn, oh, how can I be a winner today? So there's
Mhm.
5 steps, and you will know exactly how to win each day. So you can say, I'm winning for life every day.
Yeah, so aside from winning with the book, you also have a winning moment in YouTube with your travel book family series with your lovely daughter and husband. So can you tell us more about it and what was the most memorable trip so far that you've had with your family?
Oh, yes, we love traveling, and our daughter Maya has been already to 14 countries since she was born.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, lots of country.
Yeah, and she's such a little traveler. During this quarantine time when we were all on the lockdown and we couldn't travel, she was like, when are we going to travel again? I want to go on the plane. I want to travel. So her favorite places in the world are Singapore and Spain. So she loves
Mhm.
those. Because in Spain, we went to a water park that she cannot forget, and she loves those slides. And in Singapore, of course, there's Universal Studios, the amusement park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she loves the roller coasters and she loves doing all of that. For me personally, one of my most memorable trips was Bhutan. Have you guys ever heard of Bhutan?
Of
Yeah.
course,
Yes. It's
yes.
in
Yes.
Himalaya.
Yeah, it's in the
Ah,
Himalayan mountains. So it's kind
like
of
the
like
happiest
sandwiched
country in the
between.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the happiest country in the world, and it really feels like that. When you're there, you feel incredibly uplifted. Like your energy vibration is super high because the people that are surrounding you, they're just so happy inside. And you can tell there's calmness, the atmosphere in the country is so beautiful and generous and gentle. And also, they have only all organic food. Can you believe it? Everything that they
Wow.
grow is organic. So no pesticides, no GMOs, nothing like that. So the food tastes incredibly fresh. I was eating all the vegetables and I was like, why do the vegetables taste so much better here than they do anywhere else in the world? Because it's organic and it's just grown with love, right? And it's very green country, so they're carbon positive, I think. Is that, yeah, carbon neutral or carbon positive? But it's fresh air. The nature is gorgeous. They have all of these temples, and it's just such a beautiful experience for me because I'm not a Buddhist by religion, but I love Buddhist teachings and I love the spirituality of Buddhist teachings.
Mhm.
So for me to be in Bhutan, it was sort of like it was speaking to my soul somehow. Like I felt like I was at home. Everything was so peaceful and I felt so good inside.
Yeah.
So that was my personally that was my favorite memory.
Mhm. And you're now based in Phuket, right?
Yeah, we moved to Phuket from Bangkok about last September, so almost a year ago,
Mhm. So
and we love it.
if you could recommend first timers in Thailand where to go, where would that be?
Hmm. Wow, that's a really tough one because all of Thailand is amazing. Like you can
I
travel
know.
from all the way from north all the way down to south, and you can spend maybe 6 months there, and you will still not see everything.
Mhm.
So, have you all been to Thailand?
I've been
I've
there
been
Yes.
five
there.
Yeah.
times.
Chiang Mai.
Oh,
Me too,
Yeah,
5 times.
I love Chiang
okay.
Mai.
Yeah, so Chiang Mai is so beautiful with the nature. They have mountains. They also have quite a lot of good spiritual centers there. Like you can go to a temple to meditate or something. Waterfalls and beautiful nature. I personally like the beach better. So if I told somebody to come, I would say come to Phuket and go to Phi Phi Islands because for us it's also a really amazing place. We even named our daughter Maya after Maya Bay
Yeah, it's
in Phi Phi
interesting.
Islands. Yeah, so I would say definitely go to Phi Phi Islands and take the boat around, be there. There's Krabi, there is, or Krabi as people call it. There is, even in Phuket, you can just stay here and do so many incredible things. Like if you go to Phang Nga Bay, the James Bond Island, they have all of these rocks coming out of the ocean. You can
Yeah.
take the tour with a long tail boat for the whole day. You feel like you're in another planet. It's so beautiful.
And now at this point, we've come to the last part of our interview, unfortunately. But at this during this time, we ask our guests some life questions. So
Mm.
the first question I would like to ask is, your pageant life has gone full circle as a contestant, as a winner, as a judge, and as a coach. So, what advice could you give women who are interested in joining pageants and who
Oh,
are
that's
watching right now?
a wonderful, wonderful thing to ask because this is something that I really want girls to listen to very carefully. The best advice that I can give you is to be grateful, to have gratitude in your heart. And the reason why is because when you tune into gratitude, it's one of the highest vibrating frequencies of any emotional frequency out there. So, you know how we are always with our thoughts, with our actions, with our words, and with our feelings, we're constantly emitting vibrations, right? This is not just some new age or hippie idea. This has actually been proven by scientists. And I watch a lot of these shows on quantum physics and new biology where they talk about how our brains emit waves. So we can emit really negative waves or we can emit really positive waves. So whatever it is that you want to achieve in life, and if you want to achieve a crown or if you want to achieve a wonderful husband or family or success in business, it's not really the thing that you want to achieve. You want to achieve that feeling, right? The feeling
Yes,
that it's going to give to you. So, how do you tune into that same frequency of that feeling that you want in the present moment? You need to raise your own vibration, right? Because whatever it is that we emit from our bodies as vibration, we're going to attract exactly the same thing from the outside. So if we're constantly thinking gratitude, we're doing acts of kindness and being generous, if we are thinking loving thoughts, right? We're only going to attract all the same things into our life, right? But if we're
yes,
thinking fear, greed, if we're thinking complaining about things or being hateful about people and writing negative comments online, then we're emitting very negative vibration and we're going to attract negative things into our life. So
agree.
I really, really want all the girls who are watching this today and anybody else who's watching, if you want to achieve anything, just match the frequency of what you want with your current emotional frequency right now in this moment. So check in with yourself, do a little meditation, like close your eyes, do a little bit of breathing, and just see, how do I feel in this moment? How do I, what kind of emotions am I sending out there? And if you feel that there's something negative inside of you, go into gratitude. Think about what kind of things can I be grateful for right now. And there's always something to be grateful for. Even just going outside, you can breathe a little bit of fresh air, or the fact that you're breathing, the fact that you're healthy. Those are the things that you can be thankful for right now.
Yes,
And so the
Great.
more you tune into gratitude, the more you're going to attract exactly what you want. That's all I have to say.
yeah.
Totally
I
agree with
love
you.
Yeah.
hearing that.
Totally agree with you.
I agree.
Oh,
Good.
I'm
And
glad.
now I want to pass the mic to Stephen for his
Ah,
favorite question.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, of course. Natalie and I probably we are not really that far. Age wise, I'm like 41 right now,
Mhm.
and you're probably right around 40 or as
I'm
well.
getting
You're
there.
getting there, yeah. So
Yeah.
look, almost the same. So just want to know exactly how, after you have achieved a lot of things in life, how do you see yourself in the next like 5 years or so?
Mm. Okay, so in the next 5 years, I'll be about 43. And wow, it's almost hard to believe because I've
Yeah.
always, yeah, I guess when you're turning 40, it's kind of that transition moment where you're like, whoa, I'm not in my 30s anymore. So I'm getting there. Where I see myself is really in a place that internally, in a place where I'm fully satisfied with every aspect of my life. Because I'm already kind of there. I mean, pretty much there because I'm building my business. I'm working hard on my dreams of what I want to happen. I see myself being fully set up in my business so that the business is already working and I'm helping out lots of people. I'm generating enough income for my family. And I see myself writing more books. So I think in 5 years, I'll probably have written another book
Mhm.
and I'll have all of my courses like Win and Love, win the crown, win in wellness, win in wealth. I'll have all of these courses already available for everybody. So this is what I see happening in my business side. And on my family side, I just see the same as we are now, traveling, being happy as a family and enjoying each other. So
Natalie, what was the first thing that you said? Winning in what?
win
Winning
the
in love.
crown and
Win the
then
crown?
win in love.
Love. I want that. I want that book.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, I have a free ebook. If you guys go on my Instagram, you'll go on my link in the bio. You can actually get a free ebook called 6 Steps to Attract the Love That You Deserve.
Oh,
So please get that free ebook, because that ebook is also eventually it's going to become a full book called Win and Love. And I already have a course running, which I did my first course a few months back called Win and Love. And I had 8 people who I helped to achieve the self-love, because winning in love is actually, if you want to attract love from the outside, you have to start loving yourself on the
oh,
inside first. So I'm going to be updating the course and running it probably in September or October. Is going to be my second round of Win and Love course.
Yeah,
So
it's
excited
hopefully I'll
about
have
that.
it's applicable
some of
for
you who are
both men
watching.
and women.
It
It's
could be for anybody. If you're
okay.
in a relationship, if you're single, if you're in a complicated relationship, if you're a man or a woman, no matter what, you can join this course, because I really teach a lot of spiritual practices on how to love yourself and raise your vibration so that you're sending love to the world, and then you're attracting love from the outside.
Great, great, perfect.
That's great.
Yeah.
And now, Mario, for the final question.
The final question.
Oh, well. Natalie, we've done a lot. You've done a lot of things, and has inspired many people across the globe ever since you won the Miss Universe. How do you want the people? How do you want people to remember Natalie?
I love that question. It's like, when you die, what do you want people to say at your funeral?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Um, you know, I want people to remember me as a good mother and a good friend, and somebody who's not just been an inspiration to people for winning a crown, but somebody who's been an inspiration to people for living their best life, for loving themselves, right? For developing their confidence. So the more that I have my clients and the people that buy my books and the people that sign up to my courses, the more I see how much I can help people with that, that's what makes me feel like I'm living my purpose in life. Because when I get comments from people who are saying, wow, it's because of your book or because of your course that I started to value myself and I changed the way that I have a relationship with myself and it helps me in all the areas of my life, that's why I do what I do. That's what pushes me to do it. And that's how I want people to remember me, for someone who helps others to gain more confidence, to gain more self love, and to be better members of the world. Because if we can have a better world if we start with ourselves, right? If
Yes.
we improve the
Yeah.
relationship with ourselves, only then we can be better people to others.
Yep.
So, in my own way, this is my contribution to the world. It's help each person that I come in contact with to love themselves more.
Mhm. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
We've learned a lot in this 1 hour interview with you. Yeah, especially about being grateful and self-love.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. You had really wonderful questions. I'm so impressed with the questions, and you
Thank
managed to
you.
keep it all in 1 hour. That's really
Yes. Yeah, I just want to do a quick shout out to some of our viewers, especially to Sarah Gal, who commented, Natalie hasn't aged, still a good contender for the book and
Yeah.
deep down.
ah. Thank you, guys. That's so sweet.
Yeah, and
Thanks,
still
Sarah.
a lot of people, John Villa, Michael Ferrer, who said she's still very beautiful.
Thank you,
Yes, you are.
Michael.
Yeah,
Thank you,
You
Jam
are.
guys.
Manzano, Natalie's still super gorgeous.
Thank you, Jam.
Yeah, and to Lisa Ortiz, oh, my favorite Miss Universe.
Oh, that's so sweet,
Oh,
Lisa. That's so nice. I love that.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up right now. And again, thank you, Natalie, for joining us in this
Thank
beauty
you.
talks. And I wish we had more time, but we hope to hear more from you. And thank you.
thank you
Definitely.
very much.
Thank
Keep in
you.
touch. Keep in touch on social media, and maybe who knows, down the line we can do another interview, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
Exactly.
also thank you to
Yes.
Bong who connected us to Natalie.
Bong, thank
Okay.
Thank you,
you.
Bong.
Thank you, Bongtan. Thank you, Mario, Steven, Drew. Thank you, guys. Lots of love.
And thank you everyone who's watching. If you want to watch more of our episodes, just go to our YouTube and Facebook pages. And see you next time.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Natalie
Bye
Thank
bye.
you,
Kapunchak.
Natalie.
Bye bye. Sawadee ka.